Hey there. Hey there. Let's see. Hey, looking kinda neat. You can see, or you could have seen before, that the NPC was still walking in the background, which is what we want. Or maybe it's not what we want, but the point is that that's changeable in the way we've set up the states. And yeah, starting to look a bit nicer, starting to fill in the information. You can see I've like defaulted most of the party members, but Henez at the top here, I've tried to fill in the data to make it look more full. Looks like my numbers on HP and MP are oriented one too far to the left. These are meant to line up. Perhaps the same with this, or maybe these are one too long. I don't know. I'll show you like what the script for this looks like. So this is drawing just these boxes. This and this are handled in their own unique script, so I'm keeping it quite modular, so I could turn on or off these things independently. But you can see here, this is kind of the style I like to do UIs. In the past, I'd have like a whole bunch of constants and enumerators on my main object, and I'd reference those, but I like going for more of a scripted approach. Honestly, I don't know what the standard for doing UI stuff is in the industry, but this is how I like doing it. So you can see I've just explicitly put out all these temporaries, not named very well, but they're named well enough for all of the developers on this project to recognize, which is one, which is me. Then I've got to loop through the targets, make sure they're alive and that they exist, and then yeah, that's what it looks like. And there's still quite a bit more to go, so it's going to be a very nice looking script file. Anyway, back to work. Let's fire it up, boys, and open. No, come on. What? That's not right. Alright, one sec. Alright, take two. First try, number 2. Neat, but I didn't intend for these to be a hard color. I intended to be the same as the icon. But I know why that's why. To do the colorings for the icons, I'm running them through a shader, except for this is the literal command sprite that I'm working with at the moment, just because they're gonna have like different colors but a consistent border, so I haven't figured that out yet. Yeah, I've actually got that filled in with gray like this, where it will actually run, because the shader just sets the color and keeps the alpha consistent though. So the idea is that this is the color of like an empty equipment slot, and if the command is none, there's no command, then it will be colored in a similar way. I'm using that one icon I just showed for all of the commands so far, just because I'd have to go and design all the command icons. I don't want to do that right now. Well, I pretty much half did it here, but I'd have to color them, and I didn't want to do that right now. So yeah, and I've made it like with the other values, the players got them more filled up. Cool, things look better aligned. The bars, cool. I need to put the little runic things. Cool, looking alright though, I think. I'll probably take a break here, and undecided if I actually want to have a divide here or not, like I have in my example image, but I'll get some of the options working after maybe. Technically that, I guess. I was gonna say these should all do nothing except back actually does go back, but I guess instead it throws me an exception. That's a good note to cut this. Blech. Hey guys, good morning. I've done some more progress. I'm going to show you what I've done. So I don't remember what I left off last time. I think I had this menu mostly complete, so it works like this. I can go back. The next menu I've been working on is commands, so I go to commands. First of all, I have to select a player, so I'm going to select Henez, and then this is the command list. I can navigate it up, down. If I select a command, say item, it brings me a list of the commands that the player actually knows. So now they've essentially got 2 lists of commands, their active list and their complete list. And so I can scroll this all the way down. A lot more commands, a lot of fillers, none at the bottom, so I can remove a command like that. And yeah, you can see how that's been swapped out now. If I go and I change shock to flash, boom, it's flash. I can put multiple flashes on my bar if I want. Neat. And then I can hit escape to exit out of the menu completely. Go back into the menu. I actually can't navigate from here to the main menu like I'd want. Thinking about the controller, I don't know if I'll have a back button, and I'll have the start button actually, so I can use escape on the keyboard to be the start button that exits out of the full thing quickly, and I need like another key to be the just go back to the main menu button, cancel out button. But yeah, you can see I go out and back in and it's persisted. If I went into battle, you'd see these are the commands on offer. Most of these commands wouldn't do much, I just dummied out a lot of information to fill it up. But yeah, that's what I've done so far. It's been quite a bit of work because as I'm doing these menus, I'm filling in other information and game mechanics to complement the menus. For instance, next I needed this command log, and there's some functionality with that I'll go into soon. The next thing I'll do, I guess, is the description box down here for when you're hovering over the command. So I'll give a short summary of how commands work now. So you can see this is my command enumerator. I had Flame Shock Ice, that stuff before, and I've duplicated a few to emulate the kind of tiers you'd gain. The naming convention goes spell, then it's L spell, and then it's Ank spell. It's got that kind of old-timey like text restricted look without the idea it's like flame and then elder flame and then ancient flame. The tiers are levels of age, I guess you could say. So yeah, those are like all the commands. Most of them don't have any functionality tied to them yet, obviously. Now in terms of how... So this is what's running when the game starts. You can see the temporary values. I've got spawn party here, which fills up the party list, and I think within the players they've got like a script for defaulting their stats, so they all go to 10 health, 5 MP, level 1, no XP for instance, and you can see I've just grabbed the first index of my player party and I've like just given him a bunch of information to fill out the stuff. They default their commands as well. They all get attack, flame and item, kind of like they did when I started, back when flame was fireball. So on the player I just manually added the commands. But now there's also a command list, and a command list has a variable size. The command limit is 8, but the command list is however many I'll need, and you can see I'm just adding these commands. If you've got a keen eye, you can see that I'm adding these, which mirror the ones that the player has set already, but then I'm looping through every command I have and adding it again, and then I'm adding command none, which is the grayed out one, twice. The reason I did that is purposefully so that there would be duplicates and everything would be unordered, because one of the things I wanted to do is run a script, command list order, and remove duplicates, which is quite simple. Just after I make changes to the list, because if the player's learning abilities or they're gaining abilities from items, for instance, I want to be able to quickly clean up that list. First it loops through all of the commands on my object combat, which is forming, it's kind of like a database for items, commands, that stuff. It's looping through all of them. It says we haven't found any of them, false. Then we're looping through the player's command list, and we're setting to true the commands that the player has. And then after we've done that, we can remove all of the player's commands essentially by setting their command list count to 0, which is the variable size of that list, and then we can just loop through this again, and if they're set to true, that's because the player had them before, so I can re-add them, and because naturally we're looping through them in order and we're only querying each command once, we will have all of our spells nicely ordered, and we will remove the duplicates. Great. As for how the overall menu works, each menu state, actually maybe I can show. After the game set to menu, there's menu state, and menu states, not only is there one for each of the options that we had, the options are here, item, class, commands, equipment, those are the menu options I'm showing, but within one window there can be multiple states, like there's commands and then commands list. So commands list is kind of like a more detailed view than commands, because we're also showing that list of commands. But both of these will need to show the little description of the spells next. That's probably what I'll do. The idea is each of these have a cursor and a cursor position, a cursor maximum. So for instance, on commands, the cursor is the list of 8 commands, so that's going to be 8 pretty constantly, whereas in command list, the cursor moves to the variable list, so that's going to take the value of the number of commands the player has in his list. And then we've got some more cursor top and top count. That's used for determining how many options we're actually seeing and how they're positioned, because you could see in the command list, as I got to the bottom and I kept going down, it was like pushing the list down, so we could only see the 8 or 9, however many options I had at the screen at once, and it would intelligently follow the cursor. Cool. I'm going to take a break and then finish up the command window. Blech.